Good morning, Rabbi. As we see in the news with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and around the world and the midterm elections coming up, Israel is a major element in almost every debate about
Mhm.
these topics and many others. And there's always this issue of, are you a good Jew or a bad Jew? If you're a good Jew, then you're pro-Israel. You can't be a good Jew and be critical of Israel or its government. And yet, many of my friends will go and say, I don't know what to do because I can't criticize Israel, but I don't think Israel is acting the way that it should. And this is something that you have mentioned on occasion.
More than on occasion, whenever I have the opportunity. Um, I don't believe in the expansionism of Israel, of annexing all around it, of uh, the fact that the Haredi is controlling Israel's view of American Jews, not accepting American Jewish conversion, not accepting Reform rabbis. You know, I can be a rabbi in Russia, in the former Soviet Union countries. I can be a rabbi in Muslim countries, but I can't be a rabbi in the state of Israel because of the stranglehold of orthodoxy. So there are a lot of things about the country I disagree with. And I think it's time that we have an honest discussion, an honest debate about the position of Israel in Judaism, particularly being an American Jew. And it's starting to form, it's bubbling, but what I'm seeing is not a healthy debate. You know, I want to go back to the Talmud. And there was a debate between the schools of Hillel and the school of Shammai. And it was interesting because the Talmud has a great quote: disagreement for the sake of heaven is appropriate. It's about building a stronger, more complete understanding of the problem. And the text itself says, both these and those are the words of the living God. And I think I want to remind my co-religionists that the goal is to reach a conclusion. Unfortunately, what I see happening is the disagreement in the American Jewish community is not for the sake of heaven. It's not for reaching a conclusion. It's for declaring victory. It's for saying, I'm better than you are. It's for erasing the other side. And if this is going to be the debate in the American Jewish community, it's an unmitigated disaster because as American Jews, we have to talk about and decide what is the place of Israel in our Judaism. And I think that's appropriate. I think a disagreement for the sake of heaven is appropriate, but what I'm seeing is not for that.
20, 30 years ago, I believe it was during the Carter administration, when President Carter was at the time trying to reconcile the Middle East conflict between Israel and the Arab countries. And he was apparently or supposedly siding with the Arab countries, trying to get Israel to act more reasonable. And how many people started using anti Israel rhetoric? And among the Jewish community, this was very alarming, as it is right now. No one could really reconcile what to say because in everybody says, don't you want peace? And of course we all want peace, but they don't like the way that it's being accomplished because it seems to be that Israel has to give up stuff, that Israel has to concede this, or that Israel has to stop protecting itself. But that's not always the case. And where do we go with that?
You know, Judaism was around for thousands of years before the state of Israel. We have to go back and say Israel has a place in being an American Jew. Let's discuss it for the sake of heaven and not try to put each other down. Okay. Israel has a place, but should not be at the center. It shouldn't be the sum total. And what got us here is the Reform movement and other movements in Judaism placed Israel at the center of being Jewish. And that's what I want us to focus on. Israel can't be the center of Judaism. It has a place. We should talk about it. And that's what's gotten us into trouble, Joe, is ignoring Judaism as a religion. It's not about state worship. And Judaism is about uh, uniting with the one, is about rituals. It's about the Sabbath. It's about holidays. There's a lot going on in Judaism. It's about prayer and worship. It's about how do I face life every day? How do I communicate with God? All of this is Judaism. Yet, for many of our organizations, we've made Israel the sum total of Judaism. And I think therein lies the problem. I don't have a solution in terms of Israel and politics and all of that, but I do have a method of how we can deal with this. And that's an honest approach and say Judaism has a lot of facets, and the state of Israel is just one of them. And we have made it the centerpiece, and we that has created a problem, Joe.
And when it enters into the political arena, it's no more helpful or wise to say we must consider Israel in when we elect our delegates than it is to say we need to consider the needs of Rome when we elect our delegates, or Marrakesh, or any of the Hindu temples in the Himalayas. Well, Rabbi, I guess we just have to hope that everybody starts paying more attention to the debates that surround our everyday living and keep in mind that freedom of religion is what's important in all this, rather than which country gets represented in the House of Delegates.
The founding fathers were very much aware that you should not mix religion and politics. It always has a bad outcome because somebody will want their religion to be the political one and ignore everyone else or not allow anyone else. And they realized that the only way to keep that from happening was to separate religion from politics. As American Jews, now we have to separate Judaism from the state of Israel, not ignore it, not support it. We should support the state of Israel. However, we need to find the place for the state of Israel as a country in our American Judaism and acknowledge that it's not the sum total and it shouldn't be a litmus test for whom we vote.